When was the last time you saw him?
Last weekend, on Valentine's Day.
And you're only reporting this to the police now?
Honestly, we didn't think much of it at first. Leviathan is an adult, even though he doesn't always act like one, and he can go wherever he wants. When we did get worried about him not coming home, we tried to find him via magic first.
Which failed, obviously. But we know for a fact that he can't be dead, otherwise Vero would have been able to locate his soul in the beyond.
A little early to jump to such horrible conclusions anyway. Tell me more about that Valentine's Day.
I wasn't there, but the rest of my family was having some sort of group date at All Hags Cemetery. Everything seemed fine at first. It was actually Wilbica that they were worried about because she was acting strange, not Leviathan.
And could Wilbica have something to do with his disappearance?
Don't be ridiculous.
I need to work with all the facts you can give me. What else happened that day?
We helped Nate prepare his proposal to Esper. Lev played a crucial part in that because it involved a swarm of bees, and he got him to form a heart in the air. As Mum said, everything was fine. But shortly thereafter, we had an argument of sorts. He left the bar, and that was the last we saw of him.
That argument you mentioned, who was involved in it? Only you and him? And what was it about?
Whether or not we should get married. It wasn't even a real argument, no shouting or swearing or anything. But I said something that hurt him apparently. I never imagined it would have such an effect on him.
Has something like this happened before? People physically fleeing from a fight in the family?
We don't fight in this family. If someone acts up, I turn them into a garden gnome until they come to their senses.
That sounds like you. But I suppose that's not what happened in this case either.
No. As I said, I wasn't even present.
And where exactly were you at the time?
I had my own date, at a secret location with a partner who shall not be named.
In other words, you don't have an alibi.
Excuse me? First you suspect my daughter, now me? What would I gain from getting rid of the man I have been grooming to become my son-in-law ever since I first saw him? Hell, if I'd been there when the two were arguing about marriage, I would have taken Leviathan's side.
Thanks, Mum.
Besides, you talk about it like he's been kidnapped, or worse, when for all we know he could have just run away. Is there a criminal on the loose in Windenburg that we should know about?
Other than you? Probably none that would go around kidnapping grown men, but you never know. I'll organize a search. Just tell me everything you know about his appearance that could be helpful for identifying him, like his height, the clothes he was wearing, distinguishing marks.
That guy is a merman, you say? I do not think I have ever met one of those before.
But you have met at least one hybrid. Loki, that blue-haired guy who moved into one of your apartments in the old strawed mansion, is Leviathan's son, and a quarter merman.
What are the other 3/4?
Vampire, witch, and angel.
Angel? Like Mother Moon? Are you kidding me?
Don't ask me how that works. But Leviathan's father is the angel of death, which makes Leviathan himself a hybrid as well. Too bad it doesn't give him any distinguishing marks that would make him easier to find. The only thing hinting at his angelic heritage at all is that he's a lot more powerful than the average merperson.
Then watch out for extreme weather conditions in the near future, especially when they go against the forecast. That could lead you right to him.
Ouch. How the fuck are you this powerful at such a young age, especially when you specialize in superhumanity rather than offensive magic?
I can teach you, but not today. I still have a batfish to catch in that lake behind your house. But feel free to join me if you have nothing better to do.
Anything is better than fishing, so no thanks. I should get back to looking for our missing person anyway, although I have no idea what else we could try.
As I said, keep an eye on the weather. See you.
Okay, thanks. Let me know if you hear or see anything else. That was Mercury. He assures me that guy Charmaine saw in Shadow Vale is one of his new henchmen, not Leviathan, although they do sport a similar hairstyle.
Well, his hairstyle is not that unique, but I would have been very surprised if he'd let himself be turned into a vampire to work for Mercury. Since when does our witch-hating vampire overlord call you on the landline, though?
Don't ask. You're so much better off not knowing.
Oh, well. We have Charmaine to thank for that, I guess. After we asked her to keep an eye out, she asked Mercury about his new henchman, and told him to report back to us in case he learned anything. But she didn't want to give him our private mobile phone numbers, for obvious reasons, so she gave him our landline number instead.
Way too elaborate to be an assumption you believably just pulled out of your ass. Good for you that everybody's too concerned with other things to notice. I'll go check in on the main character of today's episode.
The angels are pooping very loudly today.
Is that so? Haven't heard that one in a while.
That's what Mum used to tell us when we were kids and Willie was afraid of thunder. There's nothing scary about it, it's just the angels pooping.
I know, I told her the same thing when she was younger. I'm just surprised she remembered and passed it down to the next generation.
I was hoping this particular thunderstorm might have been summoned by a certain half-angel, but apparently not. The weather forecast did warn us about it after all.
Yes, and I hope it stays this cloudy. Otherwise we'll see a full moon tonight, and you all know what that means for me.
No word from Stella Maria yet.
No, she can't find him either. This is not just unusual, but downright scary. It's the 21st century, damn it. The police have the best forensics and technology in the history of mankind, and we have magic as well. It should be completely impossible for someone to disappear without a trace like that, even for just one day, let alone 2 weeks.
Well, Leviathan has magic too, and I imagine that teleportation doesn't leave any traces.
But merfolk can't do that, at least not by themselves. And Mum's teleporting bunny slippers were still there the last time we checked.
Then we just have to wait. All our friends are looking for him. Grande is probably meeting up with yet another SCIA contact as we speak. I'm sure someone will find him sooner or later.
From your lips to Mother Moon's ears.
Is there anything I can do for you?
Not at the moment. I think I'd rather be alone now. But thanks.
Just call if you need me.
Oh bitch. Sometimes I think you're the most enlightened person living under this roof.
Glad to see you have your own moments of enlightenment every now and then.
Is this my fault? Feels like it is. Even if we choose to believe that he didn't run away because of me, but was whisked away by some mysterious force that none of us could have stopped, I'm still the reason we weren't even around to try when it happened. Because I pushed him away, like I always do to people that get too close. Tell me, why am I like this?
To be fair, you never had the best role models. But I don't know much about your life before my time, so now would be a great opportunity for a flashback to clear things up.
Sorry, I'm afraid you're out of luck today. Mum is out on some mischief business, I'm drowning in homework, and alchemy is not exactly my cup of tea anyway.
You think I could buy a potion in the magic realm then?
Possibly, except we're not allowed to go there and wouldn't even know where to look. What do you even need a magic potion for?
My roommate is sick and I promised to help him.
Is he a mortal? Then I suggest you take him to a doctor or a drugstore. That's where mortals go when they get sick, right?
But tomorrow is Valentine's Day, we both have plans, and there's no way conventional medicine will get him back up on his feet until then.
Valentine's Day, huh? Please don't tell me you're still dating that slutty chick. She's just using you to improve her grades.
Her name is Natalie, and if that was indeed her goal, she should have realized by now that it's not going to work.
Not if she really is as dumb as she looks in the pics you've sent me. That glow in her eyes, are you sure that's not the sun shining through her hollow skull from behind?
Old joke, and you're no help at all. Bye. It can't be too difficult to brew a potion myself. I watched my father do it many times.
The great thing about alchemy is that not all potions necessarily require magic. Sometimes it's just the ingredients that are magical. As long as you have those, along with a little patience and the right touch, even the clumsiest witch can brew the finest potions.
I'm not clumsy. But I'm also not a witch anymore, or at least I don't have any powers. But maybe. Or maybe not. Well, at least my date tomorrow can't possibly turn out any worse than this.
Hey Tiamo, back so soon? I was certain you'd spend the night elsewhere.
And I didn't expect you to be up and about already.
I have you to thank for that. Whatever that drug was and wherever you got it from, it made me feel a lot better in no time.
But not good enough, unfortunately. I got your text about Tiana. I'm sorry, Nate.
Yeah, I can't believe she broke up with me just because I wasn't able to see her today. Granted, it sucks to be alone on Valentine's Day, but it's not my fault. Should I have forced myself to go out in this state, at the risk of making her sick too? But it's good that she showed her true colors this way. Now I know that this relationship wasn't going anywhere.
If it's any consolation, I'm single again too.
What?
Should have listened to my sister. She'd been warning me all along that Natalie was just using me to get better grades. I didn't believe it at first, but couldn't get it out of my head either, so I asked her about it, and turns out Willie was right.
Okay. Don't take this the wrong way, but what gave Natalie that idea in the first place? You're not dumb by any means, but no Einstein either.
Well, I'm an ugly guy with glasses and no social skills, so I have to be smart. Not the exact words she used, but that's what it amounted to.
Women. They criticize you for every little thing, but they're not perfect either. Most can't even tell left from right. Seriously, what's up with that? Tiana was the worst co-driver in the world. When she told me to go right at a crossing, 9 out of 10 times she actually meant left and vice versa. But I couldn't rely on it because when I did, it was always that one damn time she was correct, so I was supposed to read her mind. That's yet another thing. They always expect you to read their minds. Sorry if I sound like an angry incel, but I had to get this off my chest.
Sometimes I wonder if it would be easier to date men.
In some regards, probably. But overall, I think there would just be different challenges. Are you thinking about experimenting?
Maybe someday. Not with you though.
Oh, I wasn't volunteering anyway. I've never felt the least bit attracted to men. Good night.
Natalie used me, Suki moved away, Olga turned out to be a lesbian, and with Charmaine and many others, it was never meant to be serious to begin with. So I wasn't always to blame when my relationships didn't last. But this time, if Lev never comes back, then yes, that's on me.
You haven't left your room all day. Mum wants to know if you're coming down for dinner.
Willie, I thought you were at Foxbury.
I was. All morning and half of the afternoon. Now it's evening.
Sorry, I've lost track of time. But no, I'm not hungry.
Still thinking about Leviathan, I assume.
Non-stop. The last thing I said to him before he left was that marriage meant nothing to me, and I wasn't planning on marrying him anytime soon. I didn't think of it that way before, but it must have made him feel unloved.
You were just being honest. Do you actually love him?
Hell if I know. But if I do, I never told him. Not sure if that thing we call love even exists in the real world at all. Apart from Nate and Esper perhaps, the relationships I've seen and experienced don't really give that impression.
When we talked about this last year, you weren't even comfortable calling your thing with Leviathan a relationship. You said you're only in it for fun and the butterflies in your stomach, and once those are gone, both of you would move on, no hard feelings.
I remember what I said.
Perhaps that's just what happened. The butterflies were gone and he moved on. Why can't you do the same?
Because he didn't just walk out the door, Willie. He's missing. How can that not bother you? He was my lover, but he was also your friend, and part of this family. Yet you talk about him like none of that matters. Aren't you even a little bit worried?
No point in worrying about things I can't change.
Good for you, but I can't shut off my feelings just like that.
Well, I can help, if you allow it. Come with me.
You really creep me out sometimes.
Thank you. Remember when you accused me of stealing Mum's Obtanium for some kind of spell? You were right. This is what I used it for. But as I already told you, it's not a love charm. To the contrary, it makes you numb to any annoying emotions, including love-related ones. Just breathe in the scent of this candle long enough, and it should take away your worries about Leviathan as well.
Are you serious? This is your solution.
There's no need to tell you this because you saw through it all along, but I no longer feel ashamed, so I might as well come out and admit it. There was a time when I was indeed somewhat smitten with Finn. Stupid, I know, and it never amounted to anything, because as I learned at his friend's bachelor party, he already has a girlfriend.
So that's what happened that night.
Yes. Now you know. But instead of wallowing in lovesickness and unproductive self-pity, I decided to get rid of those negative emotions.
And it took away all your other emotions as well.
So what? We're supposed to be evil witches, remember? That's how Mum raised us. No time for being in love, or missing people that aren't here. We shouldn't waste our energy on such things. And thanks to this candle, we don't have to.
But it wouldn't be right.
Tiamo, Wilbica. You should come downstairs, quickly.
I finally caught that batfish I was fishing for, and I also caught this. Not sure if it helps.
I'm not sure either. But this is definitely Leviathan's phone.
So I figured. I hope it does not mean that your friend drowned in the lake.
Impossible. He's a merman, they can't drown.
But it's still very possible that someone killed him and dumped his body in the lake.
How can you say something like that?
Just stating possibilities here.
He might as well have lost his phone, or thrown it away.
Then let's hope the bloody thing still works so we can recharge it and take a look at his messages, or whatever he was last doing with it before he lost it. That might give us a hint.
No need to recharge. It was switched off, but still has power. And it looks like he was trying to book a flight to Oasis Springs.
What? Why that unremarkable desert of all places?
Because it's warmer in winter than Windenburg, and Leviathan hates the cold.
But he's also afraid of heights. Remember how he almost pissed his pants on the plane to Selva Dorada? Even if he did want to go to Oasis Springs, for whatever reason, he would be searching for train connections, not flights. This makes no sense at all.
It does when you look at it from a different perspective. Excuse me.
Where are you going?
To follow up on a potential lead. I'll be back soon.
Only one more piece is missing from the puzzle, one that you happen to be very familiar with, at least if my theory of what gave you the blue hair and the telekinetic powers is correct.
I never asked about your theory, but you must know the one and only way for humans to gain alien powers. From the alien crystal clandestine, which has to be the last puzzle piece you mentioned. And where would we most likely find such a crystal? Right, at the Alien Search and Research Institute in Oasis Springs, where Leviathan is allegedly headed. Oh Lorenzo, if this is all you're doing, and you actually hurt Leviathan just to get us to continue your scavenger hunt, there will be hell to pay.
Oh shit.
Trouble. Did your landlord's daughter come back because you still haven't paid rent?
Huh? What was that?
And I already told you that you won't get away with this forever.
I can only hear it when my ears are underwater. That must mean...
Moving into an apartment so close to the family you're trying to avoid, and not even assuming a fake identity. Bad idea. Perhaps you're not the cunning chess master you think you are.
Shut up, Henford, or I might just have you for dinner after all.
We should duel sometime.
For what reason?
For fun, of course, and because it's better than going back to that lovey-dovey bar. I was beginning to think I had shithouse written on my forehead, thanks to some people expecting me to give a shit about their relationship drama.
Some other time then. I'd rather get back to fishing now.
Boring.
Maybe, but you should know that fish can come in handy in a variety of potions, so it cannot hurt to always have a few on hand.
Thanks, I know that much about alchemy myself.
A fish, yes. There has to be a sapient fish somewhere nearby. And that voice sounded so familiar, like... Henford. Is this why he disappeared weeks ago?
Even assuming for a moment that your plan is not doomed to fail, do you really think your family will ever forgive you? And I'm not just talking about you repeatedly risking their lives for your scavenger hunt, but also abandoning them in the first place, leaving your children one parent short. I hear Tiamo got hit the worst. Do you realize that many things in a man's life, his self-esteem, how he views his own masculinity, even how he treats his partner in a relationship, are directly or indirectly influenced by his father?
And who told you that? The greatest psychologists of whatever primitive century you're from. If you think I'm such a bad influence on my son, you should approve of me staying out of his life. And to answer your question, no, I don't necessarily expect them to forgive me. But forgiveness is not what I'm seeking for anyway. Now excuse me, I have another errand to run.
Oops. You're Lorenzo, Tiamo's father. He showed me a photo of you. Man, you've grown old.
And you are quite rude.
Are you keeping my friend here against his will? Hello? Henford, are you here?
Leviathan. Yes, it's me. I'm upstairs. Help me.
Not another step. It's okay, I'm not going to hurt you. Let me just take your memories. My mother moon. No. What have I done?